We do have a lot of issues that are going to be potentially with us for travel, especially east of Cleveland. We do have portions of I-90 east and westbound in Pennsylvania that are closed. So if you do have plans to travel between Cleveland, Erie, and Buffalo through the rest of the weekend, make sure you check ahead before you even think about venturing out. And we've got our own issues here with that weather impact alert for continued lake effect snow. That's going to be going through tonight into early tomorrow morning at least. Heavy snow is still possible, and travel really going to become a little more difficult as we get into the evening overnight hours and we lose the daylight. It really hasn't been too bad across much of our roadways. They've done a very good job of maintaining I-90 for much of the day, especially when we had the daylight to help. But here's a look at I-90 at Ashtabula County line. We've seen this just deteriorating over the past hour and a half or so. We had a heavier burst of snow come through. So not only do we have that snow that's accumulated across the grassy areas on the side of the highway, but also really just some tire tracks at this point that folks are trying to follow on 90. So that could get even worse as far as travel conditions are concerned as we go through the evening hours here. We've got plenty of slowdowns already along I-90. Again, no closures just yet, but Pennsylvania, different story, so keep that in mind. We do have heavy snow that's been with us really for much of the day. We've had these snowfall rates be 1 to 2, even locally up to 3 inches per hour. And all of that just adds up. And that's going to continue to be the case tonight and into early tomorrow morning. We've got very heavy snow falling across much of I-90 through Ashtabula County and even back towards Lake County as well. A very snowy drive along I-90. We've got heavy snow falling across northern Geauga County through Chardon, Thompson, out through Paynesville. Menor seeing that heavy snow. And that's been the case on and off for much of the day. We've had this very steady lake effect snow band coming in from the west. It's gone a little north, a little south, but this has been the primary area. And we do still have lake effect snow warnings in place for Ashtabula, Geauga, and Lake counties. And that's really where we could see additional impacts as far as snow totals, additional snow totals, possibly over a foot for some areas where those heavier snow bands do persist. The focus has really been east of Cleveland, but we do still have some snow showers that have popped up off to the south. One in particular, we had a good band move through I-77 through Canton in Stark County. Actually, a couple of accidents on I-77 and some slowdowns there for that evening commute if you had to be at the office for today or just for holiday travelers. Lake effect snow machine is in full force. That's going to continue to be the case as the cold and the wind settle in. Tomorrow, temperatures in the 20s. It's going to feel like the teens for everyone. So even if you're not getting in on the snow, it's still going to feel a lot like winter for tomorrow. National Design Art hour-by-hour forecast. Into tonight, we keep that lake effect snow very strong and very heavy at times as we get east of Cleveland. Tomorrow morning, we still potentially have some of that lingering, especially closer to the lakeshore. But as we go through the day tomorrow, we're expecting that we get more of a southwesterly breeze. And if that is the case, that's going to push that snow band a little further north and potentially out over Lake Erie, which would be good news and give some of those lake effect areas a chance to kind of clean up from what has already fallen. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed for that. But in the meantime, that snow could really add up tonight. Early tomorrow morning, some areas locally through Lake and especially northern Ashtabula counties could see an additional foot or more. The snow has really been ramping up. Again, biggest thing you really need to notice here is just that variation, that tight gradient from barely any snow to a lot of snow. That's going to be something that we watch very closely tonight and into tomorrow. The rest of that Union Home Mortgage extended forecast. Temperatures are going to stay in the 20s and 30s. A winter is here to stay and not going anywhere anytime soon. We're going to keep that chance for some lake effect through the weekend. We'll watch Sunday into Monday for some additional lake effect as well. And really, without the cold sticking around, that chance for snow is going to stay in that forecast. Mitty?
Thanks, Jessica. So have you ever passed a bridge and wondered why? There are signs warning drivers about surface freezing. Well, meteorologist Matt Wentz explains the science behind why bridges freeze faster than roads.
Hi, everybody. 3 News senior meteorologist Matt Wentz. As you're out traveling over the course of the holiday season, you've probably noticed that there's signs on the sideway or side of the highway that say bridges freeze before the road, right? Well, we all know that and we think about it, but do we actually think about it? Why do bridges freeze before the road? Well, simple science lesson tells you that cold air is heavy and it's dense, all right? Warm air lifts, cold air drops. And so when you have a bridge and you have cold air, typically the road is insulated by the ground. So temperatures will stay, at or above freezing as long as temperatures and the air around it are at or above freezing. But bridges can get colder despite the fact that air temperatures may be above freezing because that cold air will sink. It'll go below below the bridge, and it kind of wraps the bridge in cold air. And so that's why you'll have icing that takes place on bridges first, whereas the roadways may be just fine. So as you're out traveling this holiday season, make sure you stay safe, especially when you're approaching bridges. That also goes for ramps and overpasses, anything where air can surround it. You can certainly get colder readings and, as a result, more ice.